Islamic eschatology is the study of the end time. The end time makes a distinction between the end of history and the end of the world. From the perspective of religion, history cannot end without the final and conclusive triumph of truth over all rivals, over justice, of justice over oppression. That is the end of history. The end of the world will come when the mountains will be like pieces of cotton wool, and the earth will speak and will tell you who did 9/11. The end of the world will come when we'll be resurrected. And whether we believe it or we don't, we're going to have to stand up and answer for the life that we led. And the poor of the world cannot wait for that day to come. The reason why Europe is being flooded with refugees is because those who want to rule the world have decided that their strategy must be to rule the world of money. It's not happening by accident. And our seminar today directs attention to the world of money. Islamic eschatology could not emerge as a developed subject before the creation of the Zionist movement in 1897. It is since 1987 that events have continuously unfolded in the world, which allow the discerning thinker and scholar to connect the dots of history and to read history differently from what is taught in universities. With the Quran and with the word of the Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, we have discovered within modern Western civilization a stage-by-stage progression to a goal that is located in the Holy Land. We have discerned, for example, you'll find in my book, Jerusalem in the Quran, part of the story, that the mastermind who created modern Western civilization brought into being Britain as a ruling state with Pax Britannica, except that it wasn't Pax, it wasn't peace. It was war and bloodshed. And brought into being the sterling pound as the first step of the process of ruling the world of money. But at the same time that he created Britain as a ruling state over the world, he did something also in the world of Islam. He created the Ottoman Empire to do what Britain was doing, to establish his rule over the world of Islam. And some of you may not like this, but to do his dirty work for him. And it is time for Islamic scholarship to wake up and to recognize the essentially evil nature of the Ottoman Empire, playing a sinister role in sabotaging an end-time alliance between the world of Islam and Orthodox Christianity, located in the Quran and prophesied by Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him. That was the Ottoman Empire. And then came Islamic eschatology's recognition of stage 2. There was a mysterious passage from Pax Britannica to Pax Americana. And the United States emerges as the new ruling state in the world. And the US dollar replaces the sterling pound. But in the same way that Britain had a mysterious link with the Holy Land, shall I remind you of the Balfour Declaration? Similarly, the United States had its naval string attached to the Holy Land. At the same time that the mastermind brought into being Pax Americana to replace Pax Britannica in an effort to rule the world, he also acted in the world of Islam to demolish and dismantle the Ottoman Empire and to replace it with something with more evil in it, the Saudi Wahhabi nation state. And now that the time has come for the sun to set on Pax Americana and for Pax Judaica to replace Pax Americana, and if you cannot connect the dots, you have homework to do. Similarly, Saudi Arabia is now destined for the garbage bin. But this has not as yet reached the political scientists. This is Islamic eschatology. And the mastermind has something even more evil than Saudi Arabia to replace it. It's called ISIS, or the Islamic State, the bogus Islamic State. And of course, when we speak like this, our lives are in danger. We know who created ISIS. We know who is funding ISIS. We know who is providing the weapons. We know who has the state-of-the-art videos to video their tips. And we know those who are using deception to throw wool in our eyes. But we proclaim the truth as we see it. And we say to them from Geneva that you can kill a man, but you cannot kill the truth. This is our viewpoint from Islamic eschatology. As we read history and we anticipate tomorrow. A mastermind has created a civilization which today has been hijacked by a people who have PhDs in arrogance. All must submit to them, including Greece. All must submit to them, including China. All must submit to them, including Russia. The governments in the world of Islam have already submitted. But China will not bend her knee, and Russia will not bend her knee. And the true follower of Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, will not bend his knee. It is arrogance. It is arrogance to seek to establish your rule over all of mankind using the petrodollar. It is arrogance to also seek to transform all the rest of mankind into carbon copies of yourself. Imagine my happiness when I went to Moscow and I saw so many beards. And when I lived in New York, I knew there was only one man who was allowed to have a beard. A big white beard. And once a year he comes in a reindeer. Santa Claus is the only one allowed to have a beard. That's arrogance. Do you even want to rule my face? That if I have a beard, I cannot work in a hotel. If I have a beard, I can't work in the armed forces. If I have a beard, I can't be in the military. If I have a beard, I'm not civilized, I'm unclean. It's not just arrogance, it's also power being used to oppress. But one day the oppressor will bite the dust. But those who have hijacked modern Western civilization are also a people who are cunning. They have PhDs in deception. Malcolm X used to say, be careful. They will convince you that you are walking west, when in fact you are walking east. And our Prophet said, Allah's blessings be upon him, that mastermind comes with a river and a fire. The mastermind, of course, being the Antichrist, Dajjal. But his river is a fire, and his fire is the cool waters of a river. Whoever falls in his river will have his load of sins increased. Whoever falls in his fire will have his load of sins decreased. In other words, they take the road to heaven and make it look like the road to hell. And they take the road to hell and make it look like the road to heaven every night on television. Which is why Piero doesn't have a television in his home. And Imran doesn't have a television in his home. And when you go back home, you know what you do with your television.